friends, welcome to Learn SAP-FICO. Friends, today we are going to discuss a release process. What is a release process and how it is performed in a real time. So today we are going to discuss that. Before going to start, I request you all, if you like the video, so do subscribe and share the videos with your friends. And don't forget to click on the bell icon so that you will get the notification of all my coming videos. So let's start today's session. Now, the question is, what is release process? The first question which is in your mind, what is release process? So friends, the process of transport the request is called release process. As whatever you configure in a transport request, now if you want to copy that or if you want to release into another client or another server, so by this release process we are going to copy or release into another server or another client. So what is the transport request? I hope you all know, because we have completed many of the topics of SAP-FICO, or in each topic when we do any configuration, we save the configuration in the transport request. So the TR is used to copy or transport the configuration data from one client to another client, and from one server to another server. So the process of transport the request is called release process. So today we are going to discuss this release process. How to transport the request into another client or another server as per your requirement. So now we discuss what types of transport request. There are two types of transport request. First is customizing request and second is workbench request. What is customizing request? So it is a client dependent request. Customizing request is a client dependent request. To move the changes, we need to copy or transport the request from one client to another client or from one server to another server. Because in a customizing request, whatever we do the changes we can copy from this transport request to another client or another server by copy that transport request. Now, what is workbench request? So the friends, it has cross-client impact within the server. Workbench request has a cross-client impact within the server. For example, whatever the changes or whatever the modifications saved in that server, that can be seen in all the clients of that server. We no need to copy into another client of the same server. Whatever the modification we saved in a workbench request, so that can be seen by all the clients of that server. That's why it is a client impact within the server, and this is a client dependent request. It's saved in a one client only. When we want to copy or when we want to see in another client, so we have to copy or transport that request. So it's all about these two requests. Now we go further for the steps in a processing. How to release the process or how to copy the TR in another client or in another server. So these are the T codes, SE09 or SE010. These two T codes is used to create, change, display, delete and release the TR from one server to another server. By the T code SC09 or SC010, we can create a request, we can change, we can display, delete or release the transport request from one server to another server. So let's see how to perform this. Go to SAP screen, run the T code SE09. Now system is off. Let me restart the system again. Friends, I have logged in the system. Now we are going to run the T code SE09 or SC010. You can run it to copy, release or to create a new transport request. So this is the window where we can create a new transport request by clicking on it, or you can display all the transport requests which is created in this user ID. So if you want to display, so just enter your user ID and press enter. So these are all transport requests which is created in this user ID. This is all your customizing request and this is all your workbench request which is created under this. And if you want to create new transport request, so you can create it by clicking on it, create. System will ask to you which one you want to create, customizing or workbench. So whatever you want to create, you can select that and then click on customizing request and continue. So here you can create it. Wait a minute. Yes friends, if you want to create a new transport request, click on this create, and which one you want to create, you can select it, customizing or workbench. Now click on continue. Here give the short description like ABC and save. So your transport request is created. Now we'll get back, and then further if when you want to save something in this, so you can save it. We'll get back. Now we'll see SC09. In the same depot, there are two options like modifiable and releasing. So what is the means of modifiable and what is the means of release? When the transport request or when the request is in your server only, when the request is in your client or server, so that means that is in modifiable mode. You can modify that. So, and when you release that transport request, so that is your released. So here you can see the request status. And if you want to see all the requests, so you can just click on display, so it will show you. Now if you want to release it or if you want to transport that request, so how to transport it? So enter your user ID and then click on enter. Then select your transport request which you want to transport. Suppose I want to transport this ABC which I have created now. So just click on it. So here you can see this is your main request and this is the sub request. This is the sub request. So select the sub request and then click on transport, release directly. Click on this release directly. So it will release all the customizing requests. So here you can see the task has been released to the request. It means this is your sub request is released. Now you click on this main request, click on it, main request, and now click on this release directly. So like this, you can release your sub request and your main request. It is processing. So here you can see the local request released. It means your request is released. And now what you have to do in a real-time scenario, after releasing this request from here, you have to give the request number. This is your request number. So this number you have to give to the basis team.